Live every day as if it were the last, because before you know it, time goes past and life's just not that long. Tell all you love that you love them so, because even if you do, they might not know, and one day we'll all be gone.
Pope Francis said, "We are on the same boat, all of us, fragile and disoriented, but at the same time important and needed. All of us called to row together, each of us in need of comforting the other." I thank Pope Francis for standing strong for immigrants. His grandparents were immigrants to Argentina. They left Italy to escape the evil Italian government at that time. I thank Pope Francis for damning the climate crisis and the poisoning of our only home, Mother Earth. I thank Pope Francis for living more simply than most other popes. I thank Pope Francis for his open heart toward gay and lesbian people and divorced people. I thank Pope Francis for damning war and nuclear weapons. I thank him for damning the greed of those who have too much that robs and murders millions of poor. I'm not a Roman Catholic. I'm no longer a believer in a fair, loving parent God. I'm an atheist. I strongly compliment and thank Pope Francis for his compassion and warm humility toward people put down and rejected in this world. Why would any man want to own a gun? Why are many men in love with their guns? Why would any man want to hunt and kill animals unless he has nothing else to eat? Why do many men find it hard to admit when they're wrong and to apologize? Why are many men emotionally constipated, ashamed to be seen crying when loved ones die, ashamed to be seen crying when watching a heart-touching movie or listening to beautiful music? Why are many men ashamed to admit they love flowers, ashamed to wear bright colors? Some male animals are more colorful than the females. Why are many men afraid to talk about death and dying? Why are many men afraid to dance unless they have booze in their belly? Why do many men talk mainly sports, cars, neighbors with their men friends, nothing intensely personal? Why are many men afraid to open their hearts deeply to their closest men friends? Why are many men who are truly in love with women afraid to face their romantic attraction also to some men? Why are many men ashamed to warmly hug their teenage sons and daughters? With much help, we can wake up. We can change. We can set ourselves free to be fully human. Wars have killed millions of soldiers for thousands of years. How many of those soldiers would not have become soldiers if they had known they would be killed. In World War II, how many U.S. soldiers killing and dying knew that Henry Ford was a good friend of Hitler's? Hitler kept Ford's picture in his office. The Ford Motor Company had U.S. government permission to make Nazi tanks. The ITT Corporation, based in the United States, had designed and built Nazi phone and radio systems and supplied parts for German bombs. A U.S. presidential order licensed U.S. companies to trade with the Nazis. General Motors, DuPont, Standard Oil of New Jersey, Davis Oil Company, Chase National Bank did business with Hitler. The same U.S. companies were also making huge profits supplying the U.S. government. These U.S. companies got filthy rich off the murder of millions on both sides. War is the worst of all crimes. Never become a soldier for any government. All governments lie when at war. Almost 1/2 of U.S. federal income tax goes for war. I have paid no federal income tax, not one damn bloody penny, for 46 years. And I never will. A woman wrote, "In my line of work as a nurse, I sometimes find myself dealing with situations where a child has died. Often, friends and relatives don't know what to say or are afraid of saying the wrong thing, so they say nothing, which is unfortunate." And this woman says, I came across this article written by Linda Solly, a pediatric nurse, in other words, a nurse for children. I have found very helpful this article, and here it is from a children's nurse. An open letter to bereaved parents, to the parents of a child who has died. This nurse says, I won't say I know how you feel, because I do not know how you feel. I've lost parents, grandparents, aunts, uncles, and friends, but I have never lost a child. So how can I say I know how you feel? I won't say you'll get over it, because you won't. Life will have to go on, the washing, cooking, cleaning, the common routine. These chores will take your mind off your loved one, but the hurt will still be there. I won't say your other children will be a comfort to you, because they may not be. Many mothers I've talked to say that after they lost a child, they easily lose their temper with their remaining children. Some even feel resentful that they're alive and healthy when the other child is not. I won't say never mind, you're young enough to have another baby, because that won't help. A new baby will fill your hours, keep you busy, give you sleepless nights, but it will not replace the one you've lost. You may hear all these platitudes from your friends and relatives. They think they're helping. They don't know what else to say. You will find out who your true friends are at this time. Many will avoid you because they can't face you. Others will talk about the weather, the holidays, the school concert, but never about your child. Never about how you are coping. So what will I say? I will say, I'm here, I care, anytime, anywhere. I'll cry with you if need be. I'll talk about your loved one. We'll laugh about the good memories. I won't mind how long you grieve. I won't tell you to pull yourself together. No, I do not know how you feel, but with sharing, perhaps I will learn a little of what you are going through. And perhaps you will feel comfortable with me and find your burden has eased. Try me. I have no right on earth to much more than I need, while many millions worldwide suffer hunger, sickness, winter's cold, and have no home. The American dream, a big house full of expensive stuff no one needs, fancy cars, driving and flying thousands of miles to vacation, eating meat and dairy, is a nightmare disaster for all life on earth. I enjoy living simply below the U.S. poverty level. I've owned no car for 45 years. I mostly walk and ride city buses. I've not traveled outside New Mexico for over 30 years. I eat no meat, no dairy. I enjoy my home, one rented room, 114 square feet, 9.5 by 12 feet, with 6 windows in the house of a friend. How bad will the climate crisis get? How many massive disasters, hurricanes, forest fires, floods, tornadoes, droughts, before most people make huge changes in how they live? Regardless what corporations do, regardless what governments do, regardless how my relatives, neighbors, dear friends waste and poison our only home, Mother Earth. I am responsible for how I live. I am responsible for my example. Gandhi said, we must be the change we wish to see in the world. In December 2000, a horrible accident. A woman 8 months pregnant was thrown through the windshield of a truck onto the pavement. The jackknifing truck sliced her body in half. The live baby came out of his mother, still attached to the umbilical cord. The baby's father, who was driving the truck, said the baby's survival was a miracle. A miracle? That the mother died such an awful death by being cut in half? A miracle that the baby will grow up without his mother and when old enough, be saddened when told the horrible way his mother died? A miracle that the baby was slammed onto the concrete? An earthquake in a small town in El Salvador destroyed the church, killed hundreds under a landslide of dust and rubble. Survivors quickly said, God loves us. He left some of us alive to rebuild the church. Did God let hundreds die in agony, but kept alive some survivors to rebuild the church building? Insanity. Is a building more important to God than many human lives? Was it God's miracle that the earthquake did not kill everyone? People believe weird stupidity to keep from facing the truth. There is no God to answer our desperate, sincere prayers. Heaven is the hope of being again with loved ones after death, but we have no proof of that. No proof that heaven is real. And I don't want to bullshit myself that heaven is real. I have no proof. No matter how much I want to be with all my many loved ones in a better world beyond death, I have no proof that happened. And for any of you who knew me many years ago when I sincerely believed in God as a fair, loving parent, when I sincerely believed in heaven, I now apologize to you for spreading false advertising for God. The amazing book, Biological Exuberance. Check to see if it's on interlibrary loan, WorldCat, and if you can get a copy to read. Biological Exuberance by Bruce Bagamiel, Bagemihl, is about homosexuality and bisexuality scientifically documented in more than 450 species. 450 species of animals worldwide. He drew from research conducted over the past 200 years. Bagamiel shows that animals engage in all kinds of sex that is not involved with having babies. Male gorillas fuck each other. Female grizzly bears live as couples and raise families together. Male flamingo birds live as couples. Female flamingo birds live as couples. Even lifelong male couples, lifelong female couples are in species that have no lifelong male-female couples. I never learned this stuff in school, did you? Never again swallow the stupid lies that homosexuality and bisexuality are not natural. Homosexuality and bisexuality are common among animals, and as natural as heterosexuality. Male animals have anal sex. Male animals have oral sex with each other. Male animals masturbate each other. Male animals court and flirt with each other. So this book, Biological Exuberance, is about homosexuality and bisexuality scientifically documented in more than 450 species of animals. Mammals, birds, reptiles, insects, and other animals worldwide. And I, Don Schrader, would not give up my strong romantic attraction to certain men for all the money, all the fame in this world. The main purpose of sex for us humans is mutually affectionate, pleasurable connection between persons, female and female, female and male, male and male. And if it were not for the terrible taboos from religion, family, friends, society against sex between men, most, if not all, men would be strongly sexually attracted to at least one male during their lifetime and would enjoy sex and romance with him, even if they also greatly enjoy sex and romance with women. Sex between men would become at least as popular as baseball, soccer, wrestling, basketball. Many guys who yell faggot at someone else have sex with guys, or they want to, but they do not have the balls to say so or to do it. Some men are terrified of their own deep, hidden desires for men. Some guys are scared if they've tried it once with a guy. They would enjoy it so much, they would want to keep on having sex with guys. I would be ashamed to be a boxer. I would be ashamed as hell to be a football player injuring men. I would be ashamed to be a soldier killing men and women in war. Why cheer and honor men injuring and killing men? Why curse men making love, being in love with men, giving each other affectionate, passionate pleasure? Dale Gunther shot and killed my grandparents, my father's parents, June 25th, 1976. My grandfather, Lloyd Schrader, was 85. My grandmother, Annie Schrader, was 82. My grandparents were retired farmers in northern Illinois, west of Chicago. Dale Gunther, who killed them, was a severely abused 18-year-old white man from that area. Dale shot my grandparents in bed as he stood outside their bedroom window. For almost 6 years, our family did not know who murdered my grandparents. In 1982, Dale was arrested. Dale confessed to murdering my grandparents. And months later, I called the jail chaplain. I asked the chaplain if Dale was going to church services. And the jail chaplain told me Dale was attending church services, so I thought Dale might truly regret killing my grandparents. I wrote a letter to Dale, offering him my forgiveness, my friendship. And if someday someone would murder me, I ask my family, my friends, to offer forgiveness and friendship to whoever killed me, if that person strongly regrets having killed me. And Dale wrote me in response to that first letter I wrote him, offering my forgiveness and friendship. He deeply repented for killing my grandparents. I visited Dale twice in prison, and the first time tears came to his eyes. He greatly appreciated my forgiveness, my friendship. Dale suffered terrible depression from having flashbacks of shooting and killing my grandparents. And memory is the worst punishment for anyone with a strong conscience who does wrong. Our consciences are turned on by people who deeply love us. As Dale looked back to that hellish night, June 25th, 1976, Dale did not know why he murdered my grandparents. And Dale wanted to get out of prison someday and show people he could live a good life. Dale wrote a sincere letter of apology for killing my grandparents. A sincere letter of apology to our family. 2 area newspapers there in northern Illinois published his letter. In November 1989, at age 31, Dale killed himself in prison. After Dale died, Dale's mother, whom I never met, wrote me thanking me for befriending her son, Dale. I have 60 letters Dale wrote me from prison. Dale was not born evil. No one is born evil. Sadly, Dale's father beat Dale as a kid. Hurt people hurt other people unless and until they heal inside. With much help, much time, severely abused people can heal, can change. I never met Dale's father. Did Dale's father ever realize, especially after Dale was arrested for murdering my grandparents, how beating his son, Dale, made Dale violent and dangerous? Was Dale's father beaten as a kid by his father? Did beating kids go back generations in that family? Many questions. I do not know the answers. Dale's mother was a Sunday school teacher. Why did she not stop Dale's father from beating Dale? Was Dale's mother afraid of Dale's father? Did he beat her also? Or did Dale's mother believe the Bible's evil verse in the book of Proverbs, urging fathers to beat their sons? I am so glad my father did not beat me. Maybe one time my father hit me. Imagine if Dale's father had never beaten Dale. Imagine if Dale's father had warmly hugged Dale every day. Parents never beat, never hit your sons or your daughters. Hug them warmly, your sons and your daughters, every day. I never remember my father hugging me when I was a boy growing up. But the very last time I saw my dad alive, when he was 81, I was 48, he made the first move to hug and kiss me as I left our Illinois farm to come back to Albuquerque. Dale Gunther's older brother was a U.S. soldier in Vietnam, or a U.S. soldier. But I'm not sure if Dale's brother was in Vietnam. I don't know. If his brother was a combat soldier in Vietnam, Dale's brother may have killed kids and grandparents as a U.S. soldier. Our grandparents in Vietnam, our kids in Vietnam, less human, less precious than my U.S. white grandparents or U.S. kids. In Dale's letters, Dale opened his life to me. I question if he was that open and honest, transparent with anyone else. I don't know. In school, Dale did not like to shower with other boys. Why? Because his cock was so small. So Dale at 18 did not measure up as a man in the eyes of his father who beat him, in the eyes of his older brother who may have seen Dale as a punk kid. Dale at 18 did not measure up as a man in the eyes of his male schoolmates. He was a kid with the small cock. And Dale had a girlfriend. They later had children. Dale told me, if they do not want us to kill, why do they make movies about killing? Sadly, actors get filthy rich glamorizing murder. Actors make millions of dollars making murder look cool, exciting. And I foolishly wasted many precious hours as a teenager, addicted to violent westerns on television. And now, under normal conditions, I would not watch those TV westerns for $1,000 an hour. No, hell no. With much help, we can wake up. We can make huge changes, good changes. Fortunately, my father did not beat me. Dale's father beat Dale. And just as Dale, as a kid, felt helpless, a victim of his father's evil cruelty, Dale made my grandparents helpless victims of his evil cruelty when he shot and killed them in bed. Imagine if U.S. presidents, U.S. generals publicly repented and apologized for murdering people in U.S. wars. Millions of people that this country has murdered in U.S. wars in many nations. And imagine if those U.S. presidents, those U.S. generals, repented publicly and apologized, as Dale publicly repented and apologized for murdering my grandparents. Sadly, many churchgoers who knew my grandparents probably considered Dale a no-good, hopeless killer. But some of these church people were proud to have their sons and daughters or grandchildren become U.S. soldiers, trained and equipped as professional hired killers to murder on command with no conscience. Did any of these churchgoers who knew my grandparents realize how federal income tax dollars pay for the murder of grandparents in other nations, in U.S. wars? And none of us, including me, none of us can say for sure we would not have committed the evil Dale committed if we had suffered the severe abuse from his father that he suffered. We all are more than the worst thing we ever did, or the worst thing we almost did. I will not pretend to enjoy what I do not enjoy, to please any lover, to please my closest friends. I will not watch football, boxing, violent movies, no matter if any lover or my closest friends watch them. Hell no. I will not listen to heavy metal. I will not hang out for hours in bars of damn booze. Find things that both you and your lovers, both you and your closest friends enjoy. My close friend Johnny and I both enjoy Old Town. I don't buy anything there, but I enjoy watching people. All of us are an interesting human zoo. An interesting human zoo. In Old Town, some Chicanos whose ancestors in New Mexico go back hundreds of years. In Old Town, tourists of all colors who have never been here before, who never will be here again, some on their honeymoon. And often in Old Town, a variety of live music. Yes, my close friend Johnny and I both enjoy Old Town. Johnny and I enjoy long walks together. We enjoy going to cemeteries. Mount Calvary Cemetery, where Johnny's mother, his birth father, his stepfather, his adopted father, all four are buried there at Mount Calvary Cemetery on Edith, north of Martineztown. My dear foster son, Joe Villalobos, is buried there. My beloved friend Daniel Archibek, many other friends at Mount Calvary Cemetery and Sunset Memorial Park next to Mount Calvary. Find things to do together, you and your lovers, you and your friends, both enjoy. And never, never, never pretend to enjoy what you do not enjoy. Don't fake it just to please any friend or lover. Be real. Tell the truth. Only white men wrote and signed the original U.S. Constitution. Most of those white men were rich. Some of them bought, sold, and owned enslaved black people. No women, no blacks, no poor people wrote and signed the original U.S. Constitution. No Latinos, no Jews, no Muslims wrote and signed the original U.S. Constitution. No Native Americans, no Asian Americans, no people openly gay or bisexual wrote and signed the original U.S. Constitution. It said nothing to stop the buying, selling, and owning of enslaved black people. Nothing in the original U.S. Constitution to stop that evil. Nothing to make sure women and people of color and poor people had the right to vote. Nothing to stop the U.S. mass murder of Native people, the stealing of their homelands. Nothing in the original U.S. Constitution to protect our Mother Earth. The original U.S. Constitution was written by and for rich white men. U.S. white male supremacy did not begin with the Ku Klux Klan or with Donald Trump. The roots of this government, the U.S. government, were white male supremacy, racism, slavery, greed, and war. Did my high school history teachers know these facts? Were my teachers afraid if they told us the truth on all of this? Some parents might raise hell and get those teachers fired. I strongly recommend the book, A People's History of the United States by Howard Zinn. That's Z-I-N-N. Howard Zinn, in our city library. A People's History of the United States. And I also strongly recommend the book, An Indigenous People's History of the United States by Roxanne Dunbar Ortiz. Every one of us is capable of terrifying violence. Every one of us is capable of murder in a moment of insane rage. And every one of us is also capable of marvelous compassion, of wonderful good. We need to always see the evil around us, within us, but we need to concentrate mainly on the good around us in other folks and the good within us. It's better to light a candle than to curse the darkness. Violence is a terrible human problem. It's not just a male problem. Hell no. Violence is a terrible problem of both men and women. No one is born evil. If we think of persons who have hurt us the most, if we think of persons who have committed huge bloody atrocities, if I had suffered the childhoods they suffered, if I had suffered the prison influences they later suffered, if I had not had the many people, the great variety, the wide variety of many people who have taught me, loved me, inspired me, I might have committed the same evils they committed. And with much help from each other, we can wake up. We can turn from evil. We can change. If you really want to eat healthy, live healthy, get rid of all the packaged, canned, bottled, slow, poisoned, processed shit in your house. Absolutely no sodas, no booze, no sugar shit. If you don't have it around, you can't eat it. If you get the urge. Get rid of all fast food, all factory fake food containing added sugar, artificial sweeteners, processed vegetable oils, corn oil, soybean oil, peanut oil, etc. These oils often have been heated to high temperatures, the good stuff taken out, bad stuff added to these oils. I have none of that crap in my one-room home. Never eat cooked fat. I eat no cooked food, period, but never eat cooked fat. Cooked fat clogs up the blood arteries, the lymphatic system. Cooked fat often makes people fat. Eating only raw plant fats, flaxseed, pumpkin seeds, nuts, avocados, can help lose body fat. Why? Because raw plant fat has enzymes which cause body fat to be burned. People spend about $1 billion on booze every year in New Mexico. 1 billion, that's 1,000 millions. Enough booze to fill 72 Olympic-sized swimming pools just in New Mexico by the people who drink the damn poison. Sadly, New Mexico has the highest rate of all 50 states of people killed by booze from drunk driving and chronic disease. Booze has devastated the lives and killed many of my dear friends. A worldwide study in 195 nations released the results in 2018. There is no safe level of drinking booze. None. Zero. Nada. Booze lowers the sex hormone testosterone. So why would sex-loving men, sex-loving women drink booze? Many lean, attractive bodies will not stay lean and attractive if they keep on boozing and eating crap. Imagine if all the $1 billion New Mexico spends every year on booze instead helped hungry, homeless persons worldwide. I urge all community leaders all musicians, all athletes to pledge publicly to drink no booze the rest of their lives. Musicians, stop singing words glamorizing booze, tequila. Stop it. Our example can influence those who know us. Booze causes awful family fights, ruined romances, horrible holiday memories. I don't want to make it easier for me to say or to do things I later would terribly regret. I have drunk no booze for many, many years. No salary on earth is worth selling your brain, your conscience, to design nuclear bombs at Sandia Weapons Lab. U.S. nuclear bombs prepare to murder far more moms, dads, kids than all the wars of human history put together. U.S. nuclear bombs prepare to murder many times more moms, dads, kids than Hitler and the Nazis killed in the gas ovens, the concentration camps, and World War II. U.S. nuclear bombs prepare to murder far more people than all the street gangs, the drunk drivers, the drug cartels, the school shooters, the violent spouses, the serial killers, the Ku Klux Klan, ISIS, the mafia, put together. Murder. Is this treating other people as we want to be treated? Is this loving our neighbors as we love ourselves? Is this doing good to our enemies? The United States is the only nation ever to atom bomb cities of people. Why would any community leader in Albuquerque be proud of Sandia Weapons Lab? Why would anyone with a conscience, religious or atheist, work at Sandia Weapons Lab? A life-giving job at minimum wage is infinitely better than a mass murder job at Sandia Weapons Lab or Los Alamos Weapons Lab. For 46 years, I have paid no federal income tax, not one bloody penny, for U.S. nuclear bombs and U.S. wars. Some years ago, 14-year-old Paul in Rio Rancho shot his buddy Billy in the back, killed him. Paul had never been in trouble at school. Paul was not in a street gang. Paul did not smoke cigarettes. He did not drink booze. Paul was a gentle, smart, fun-loving kid. But at 14, Paul killed his buddy. I damn having guns in homes. If anyone had told Paul's mother and father several weeks before their son would use their gun to kill his buddy, how would they have believed it? If Paul's parents had not had that damn gun in their home, Billy would probably be alive today and Paul would not be living with the hellish memory of having killed his friend. If you have a gun, get rid of it. Do you have to experience the hell these families went through? before you wake up? Do we realize any of us could have been Paul? Any one of us could have been Billy. I strongly compliment Roman Catholic Archbishop John Wester here in New Mexico for his strong public stand against nuclear weapons. And I urge all religious leaders and other community leaders to have the conscience, the courage to damn publicly all nuclear weapons. Excuse me. Including Sandia Nuclear Weapons Lab, Los Alamos Nuclear Weapons Lab. The worst overpopulation problem on Earth is not in India, it's not in Africa, it's not in China. The worst overpopulation problem on Earth is in the United States. Why? Because most people here consume and pollute far more per person than most people in India, Africa, or China. Why make more babies? 8 billion people on Earth, and the population of the world only reached 1 billion sometime between 1800 and 1850, about 200 years ago, and now it's 8 billion. If you already have kids, love and care for them and teach them by your example to enjoy living simply and fairly in our world family of 8 billion. For many reasons, I am glad I made no babies. I strongly thank Mark, Eddie, Travis, and others for helping me at the controls, the cameras, many scores of times for this program. And I warmly welcome any of you who sincerely want to talk with me, to stop me when you see me at an event here in Albuquerque or on the street. I love personal questions, and I enjoy hugging, greatly enjoy hugging men, women, young, old, all ages, all colors, all sizes. Thanks for watching and listening. To your health, my fresh piss.
Tell all you love that you love them so, because even if you do, they might not know, and one day we'll all be gone. Taste the wind, don't let it blow on by. Sing songs of love, let the music get you high, and when it's said and done, you'll know the sun will shine on. And when it's said and done, you'll know the sun will shine on. And when it's said and done, you'll know the sun will shine.